What's up, YouTube? Andrew here. I want to welcome you guys back to the next video from us. Today I'll be showing you guys how I made the Texas flag. This flag is a one-piece design. There was multiple CNC cuts with multiple pores in between. It took approximately about 8 days to be able to complete this project. I forgot to record the first video of the initial pour. If you guys have any questions on how it was done, please let me know. I just used the Pearl White from Pearl FX and Marine Pearl Epoxy with a little bit of Alumilite White dye. If you guys like these types of videos, make sure you hit that subscribe button below and make sure your notifications are turned on so you don't miss any of our videos. But let's get back to this Texas flag today. As you can see, it's up on the CNC machine and it is starting to do the cutout for the red section of the flag. Welcome back to day 3. The inlay was just cut for the red, so we're going to go ahead and start mixing the colors and epoxy for the inlay. We're going to be using dark red metallic from Stonecoat Countertops, and a red metallic dust, and a red Alumilite dye as well. I'll go ahead and link everything in the description below. Go ahead and mix your epoxy up real well for about 2 minutes. Go ahead and mix in all of your additives. Make sure it's all mixed thoroughly and there's no clumps. Otherwise you'll see it in your final product. Go ahead and start pouring your inlay. Just make sure that it pours evenly and you don't want it to go over onto the other parts of the project as much as possible. If it does go onto the other parts of your project, just use a shop towel and clean it up. If you do not clean it up, you'll have to sand it off later, which will take time. If need be, you can go ahead and use a heat gun or a torch to be able to thin out the epoxy so it can move more fluidly. Be careful with too much heat with Marine Pearl Epoxy. If you apply too much heat, it will start accelerating the curing process and you'll have issues with your project. Go ahead and hit it with a heat gun or a torch to remove any bubbles on the surface. Welcome back to day 4, guys. The epoxy has been curing for about a day and a half and is ready to have the next section CNC'd out. For the blue inlay, we're going to be using epoxy from Marine Pro and Crater Lake Blue Metallic from Stonecoat Countertops. Go ahead and mix your epoxy up real well for about 2 minutes. And mix in all of your additives. Make sure it's all mixed thoroughly and there's no clumps. Otherwise you'll see it in your final product. And we'll be using also a little bit of Alumilite blue dye as well. As with the previous inlay, go ahead and start pouring your epoxy in. Try to get it as even as possible. Do not go over the edges of your working area because you will have to come back and sand those off at a later time. Go ahead and hit it with a heat gun or a torch to remove any bubbles on the surface. Welcome back to day 5, guys. The blue inlay has cured for about a day and a half. Now we're just going to have it back up on the CNC so we can go ahead and cut the actual shape of the flag out. After the shape of the flag was cut out, I went ahead and painted the edges of the flag so it has a different color. Now let's get to sanding the inlay down. Start with a lower grit sandpaper, about 120, and start working your way up to 220. Be careful of standing in one place or sanding too much. You will burn through the material pretty quick. Once you've sanded off the excess inlay and it's smooth, you can go ahead and stop. Make sure you guys clean up with the rubbing alcohol and compressed air to be able to get all the dust off of your project. Welcome back to the last day, guys. Today is day 6. We will be going ahead and applying the final clear coat to this project. We're going to be using Marine Pro for the clear coat. And again, as usual, go ahead and make sure that is mixed up good for about 2 minutes. We're going to add a little diamond dust from Stonecoat Countertop to give it a little bit more shimmer. Once mixed and you're ready, go ahead and start pouring on the epoxy. I try to keep my epoxy in the middle, and I'll start moving it around once it's all poured. Once it's poured, I like to use a 1/8 inch trowel to be able to move the epoxy around so it's a little bit more level. Move all the epoxy around so all the surface area is covered. After you've evenly distributed the epoxy, go ahead and use a torch to be able to remove any of the bubbles that are in the epoxy. After all the air bubbles have been removed from the epoxy, you're going to want to go ahead and clean up your edges. And she is done. So she'll be curing for about another 3 days, which brings the total of the days to about 9 days total to be able to complete this project. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button above. We'll see you on the next video.